Hello and welcome into the SorareData NBA Strategy Show. I am Andrew Laird, head of content here at SorareData, joined today by Mike Zakarian of Team Hold, of which I'm a member. Mike, I had all this stuff to talk to you about because you were just in Salt Lake City for the NBA AllStar game and all of its festivities. And then I decided to just completely change the topic on you. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit. But first off, welcome back. How was Utah?
It was great. I had a great time. I was just telling you off air, I'm very tired now. I'm just not built like I used to be able to
withstand. The best of us.
Yeah, like shut up Dustin too for also being an old person, because we had a couple of opportunities to go out Sunday after the All-Star game to a few parties, and we were just like, or we could, call it a night, and I was in bed by 10:30. No regret.
For those of you who do not, for some reason, regularly watch the NBA Bit, which is over on the Team Hold YouTube channel, Mike has gone through a bunch of the stuff that he did on AllStar Weekend over there. So definitely check that out. I know you were on Club Top Shot yesterday talking about Sorare.
Yeah, I feel like I broke a big story or something, and then I'm like making the media rounds now, I was on Club Top Shot, now SorareData, NBA. No, I did talk about a little Sorare yesterday, actually. I thought you were saying that facetiously at first, and I was like, oh, no. Yeah, I did drop them, yeah.
Well, I mean, at least they were the reason that you were in Utah. Can we put it that way?
Yeah, it was cool. One of the community members team members reached out maybe a week or two ago, and they were just like, hey, if we potentially had these and you could go out there, would you want to go out there? And we had been talking about doing something like this before. We've done it for Summer League. We've always wanted to do the AllStar Weekend and just kind of stars aligned. So shouts to them. It was so funny. We realized we were sitting next to these 2K creators who were also there for Sorare, but we'd never talked to each other until I saw one of their videos come out on Monday. And I was like, oh, there I am.
Yeah.
And I know Sorare had Bryson out there too, who was doing some stuff for them. And so, yeah, shouts to Sorare for having a presence and try to be involved in a weekend that, it's like it's built for the NBA fan,
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Thank you to everyone who has joined us. It's funny because I'm just like looking down the list of all the people who are here. JBlaze21 was first, and it's everybody from Team Hold that I'm just like used to seeing. Like Jeb is here. Jeb is a regular watcher of SorareData content. And I admit that I was like a few minutes late. So this comment, which came in actually before we started, but was completely justified because I made us late. But yeah, thank you to everybody who has joined us. And anybody, if you guys haven't hit the like button, please do so. As the great Quinny says, wear your manners, please.
Wear your manners. I like that.
But anyway, so I was going to like pepper you questions about the All-Star game and the whole weekend. But like you said, you've done the media tour, and I don't really, I don't need to like force you to rehash all of that stuff. I do love that video that you did, though, about asking everybody how excited they were about the dunk contest. And nobody knew who was in the dunk contest. But was it one person who knew that Mac McClung was in it?
No. So the running bit was everyone knew Mac McClung, but no one knew any NBA players. Like, and Mac McClung's not an NBA player.
It turned out it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. He was incredible. He was amazing. And that's why everyone was like, oh, your video aged poorly. I was like, no, it didn't. That was exactly my point, is that no one in the NBA, like, no one knows who's in the dunk contest. And they didn't. They knew a G Leaguer was in it.
Exactly. With a huge 2-game NBA career. Did he even get minutes in those games? I'll be honest. I
don't think so. I don't think he's been on the court yet.
Yeah. But he has a new Puma deal. So fun.
Dude, good for him, man. I'm so glad he was incredible. It was so fun to watch, and I'm glad he's getting paid now.
Yeah, for sure. I think literally the most important thing that he did during that dunk contest was make his dunks the first time.
Yeah.
I've been talking to people who literally have given up on the dunk contest because they're just like, they get 48 tries to do the same dunk, and like once you see like what the dunk should be and they miss, and you're like, okay, like that's cool. And then they like have to keep trying. And you're like, this is less cool now, and you're just like
Yeah.
waiting for them to finish so that you could be 9.5. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's what dinged Kenyon Martin Jr. so bad. He was the only one that was missing them. Like Trey Murphy was getting him first time. Even Jericho Sims was getting him on his first try. Yeah, that was a tough scene. It's so bad that he like had to post something on Instagram being like, I don't know why y'all are embarrassed. I'm not. I'm like, God, you definitely are embarrassed.
You should. Yes, you should
Poor
be.
Jericho.
Should be.
That was tough. That was a tough watch live too. That was not like, especially when they like when he taped the thing on the net. I was like, oh hell yeah, here we go. And then no, it was pretty bad.
No, yeah, it's. I don't know. Like I saw this. Like, did Mac McClung like save the dunk contest? And the problem is that you could just watch his dunks like a day later in 60 seconds and be like, that was awesome. But it's like a 3-hour. Well, I guess the dunk contest itself isn't 3 hours. It feels like 10.
I will say though, I mean, Saturday night feels long, but the dunk contest was cool this year because Trey Murphy was great. Like there was a back and forth. Like those Trey Murphy dunks, I feel like are going to go overlooked because Mac McClung won. But I mean, the Trey Murphy was awesome, and so like that to me was what was cool. It's like you weren't sure who was going to win and it wasn't because everybody sucked. It was because like two guys were throwing up really high scores every time they went up. So that did. I mean, we'll see. I hope that performance makes other talented people in the NBA like a Ja Morant think like, oh, maybe I should go. Maybe that is fun. Maybe I should go do it since this G Leaguer's winning it right now. So we'll see. We'll see. I think next year will be a better sign or better barometer if he like saved it or not.
I'm going to I'll make me look old. I'll make me look old.
All right.
But I just remember like the best dunk contest, which I don't even remember at this point if it actually was the best dunk contest, but like the only one that I like truly remember is the Vince Carter one. Like the one where we all have the meme, the gif now of him going like it's over and he's hanging on the rim. And like people do that now and you're just like, well, that's not that. But like the dunks themselves probably weren't even like so many people now can probably do those dunks and he did them and we're just like, whoa.
Well, but think about this. I mean, you don't have to out yourself. How old were you when that happened?
I don't even remember when that was.
But you were like young.
I'm old enough to not even remember
right.
That was.
But like I point being is like the ones that I remember the most are like D Brown. Remember when D Brown like put his hand up covering his eyes, even though we think he can see? But that's how I was a kid. And so like I'm like, holy crap. So like anything that happened before the age of 16 was like the best thing ever. And then now a bunch of people in their 30s and 40s and 50s are like, oh, AllStar Weekend's dead. It's like, it's not really for you, man.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. It's not for you. Vince Carter was 2000. So it was June. So I was like 18.
Yeah. I think I was 16.
So that's like cool enough. Like, I feel like I'm old enough where I like really appreciate that. I'm not 7 where I'm just like, oh, okay. And they're like, I know there are people in chat right now who are like, oh, I was born 4 years later. The D Brown one reminded me of the Cedric Ceballos one where he like put the blindfold on. I was definitely like too young for that one. Like I don't remember that one. I've just seen like the grainy footage where like he puts the blindfold on and it's like, he can see.
Yeah.
It's cool, but he can see.
Definitely see.
I'm not falling for this one. Santa Boys was saying Gerald Green and Nate Robinson ones were good. I don't even remember if the Nate Robinson dunks were good. I just know he's tiny.
Yeah.
So like
he
cool.
dunked over Dwight Howard, I think. I think he jumped over Dwight Howard.
Did he?
Yeah.
I remember the Dwight Howard one where he like slapped the sticker at the top of the backboard.
Yeah.
And I remember people were like, that's not even that great of a dunk. And I'm like, I don't know if the dunk is really the point anymore. It's the fact that he almost hit the top of the backboard by just jumping.
Well, and that's what happens when you're tall. Like no one cares about the tall guys throwing down because we're like, yeah, of course you can dunk. Yeah. Like Mac McClung, you look like you're going to do my taxes in a month. So you're like, that's really impressive.
Might be doing it in a month.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel a little bit like old man get off my lawn with these dunks that aren't as great, but like McClung, those were fun.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about those. We're here to talk about stagnant headshot photos of players on JPEGs that you can win sometimes. No. So I want to talk about progression because they came out with this new progression system that is really close to football, and it's kind of new in football, and they're doing it in the NBA, and you are actually like going through it in football right now.
Right.
And I noticed, I mean, this is a topic that's come up in like the Team Hold Discord that I'm in. And so I feel like you and I had different reactions to it than some of the reactions of people in the Discord, because maybe just because where we are like in Sorare. But basically, I wasn't going to go like through the whole thing, but I guess
well, why don't you? I would love to just like get what your take is on it first, if that's cool with you, because then I think that will be a little bit more insightful before I start going, just because you've gone through it a little bit more and have been around a little bit longer.
Yeah. So are you just trying to say I'm old? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You've been here forever. But anyway, so the biggest thing that Sorare deals with is that they offer this free-to-play game as a way to get people to buy cards, to play the other games. Like, fundamentally, they are not a company that like makes money from a free-to-play game. So it's as simple as that.
Right.
And so offering a free-to-play game that like doesn't necessarily force you to move on is going to struggle to get people to move on, because like the more fun the free-to-play game is, people are like, oh, why would I move? This is really fun. And so I think that's why they introduced this new system where they've called it now Garage Hoops Rec League Limited Tip-Off and Pickup, which they're like completely nondescript basketball phrases, but like I guess that's how you move in real life, garage hoops to rec league. But anyway, I didn't grow up with a garage, so I didn't learn that one.
Yeah.
But basically, it's like there are two free-to-play, garage hoops and the rec league for new managers, and then the rec league rewards limited cards for people who finish highly. And at some point, if you finish high enough in the rec league, you're not allowed to play it anymore. And then you move on to limited tip-off, where you can use one limited card, which is exactly what they do with these semi-pro competitions in football.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just move on, as they say, to contender, which I always feel like is a little, not harsh, but like obviously you need better cards in champion, but it's actually easier to play champion.
Right. Once you get the good cards.
But yeah, but anyway, so it's like this whole idea of like, yes, play our free game for a little bit, and then please buy a card.
Yeah.
And my initial response was just like, yeah, that makes sense. Like they want to push people out of the free-to-play game, and limited cards are not that expensive anymore, which is another topic we'll talk about in a little bit. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, their goal is to get everybody to pay to buy cards. Right. And I was like, yeah, I get this. And the response in the Team Hold Discord that I like totally wasn't expecting was amongst people who have like basically too many limited cards to enter these like middle ground tournaments.
Right. And
I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even like consider that at all. That there could be people who, even if you like collected a few because you thought you could flip them, or you just kind of want to own them, and you play the free game, like you pretty much can't do that anymore if you have collected more than, I don't even remember what the number is.
It was 5, I think. And I thought that was like the interesting talking point, because like I am a big fan of this setup. Like I think I've already highlighted how much I enjoy it in the Premier League side of things, where it's like baby steps. I'm not like forced to go into contests with people who have been doing this forever, that have won a lot, like I can like work my way into those waters. I do think like there's two things about it. I think this system right now, and a lot of people have outlined this in our Discord, it's like, all right, well, if I have 6, I'm just going to sell, like, cause that's not going to make, it's not like, oh, well, I'll go buy 35 more now, so I'm ready to go. You're like, oh, I'll just sell one so I can keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm a big fan of like creating this sort of system. I think like doing it mid-season and like taking stuff away feels like a weird move right now. only because the same thing that we've been yelling for the last 2 months is just like more contests, more contests. So I think the restructuring of this makes sense in like broadly speaking. But I don't know. I think it's hurting a lot of people that maybe have just started dipping their toes into the limited streets. And it's like basically saying like, okay, go spend some money now, which of course, like you outlined, they ultimately want them to do. But I don't know if this is how I would do it. And we should also just say people hate change all the time. So like whatever the thing was going to be, we're going to be like, I don't know. But I do have like a couple of things that I'd be like, I don't hate it, but I don't know if I would have done it this way.
So I agree. It does. I didn't even actually think of that we were like, that all we talk about is like wanting more contests. And they were like, hey, we have this new competition. There are 4 new competitions. Like you should go play them. And the one that you've been playing is gone.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, oh, all right. That's, and we obviously have like, we started playing NBA like right away. So we have like a ton of commons. And to then just be like, and I play the free game. Like I know plenty of people who play the free game and have won limiteds from it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this keeps them playing, to be honest.
I don't think it does. I don't, that's what I'm saying. Like if you have like 3 or 4, or let's say 6 or 7 limiteds that you've won either throughout the common champions and then maybe like bought 1 or bought 2, I don't think this is an incentive to keep going. Or you like, yeah, to load up on bags. I don't know if that is, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that's the message that they're sending. You know what? Actually, I do know, because clearly from the people that are saying it in the Discord, like they're like, no, yeah, this doesn't make me want to go do more. It's just like taking contests away. And again, I'm all for like mid-season mid-season adjustments if it's an improvement. And we just don't know if this may be a long-term improvement, but it's definitely a short-term setback. It feels like for a lot of the minnows out there, you know.
It just, and some people have pointed out in chat, like we're well beyond halfway.
Right.
Like the All-Star game just happened, and usually that's usually the halfway point, but it's not really. Right. Maybe it is time-wise, since the playoffs are like 3.5 years each. So like in terms of actual days, maybe it's halfway. I don't even know. But it's like a fundamental change. And to happen at this point of the season feels weird.
Yeah.
And unnecessary. And who was it?
Are people in the chat really everybody says after the All-Star game it's the second half of the season. I know there's only 22 of 82 games left, but good Lord.
There's a bit of an argument here going on in the chat. Anyway, but yeah, so like a big rules, like that's basically what it is, like a big rules change, because I know a lot of people that are primarily on play football, meaning Sorare football,
right? And
they play the common game because they have them, and they use like the SorareData lineup builder. Like I talked to plenty of them who are like, I don't follow the NBA at all, so I just like go in the lineup builder, I hit suggest a lineup, and I put that lineup in, which is tons of fun. But like sometimes they win and they're like, oh, winning's fun. And now that's gone. Like it's literally gone, like that game. I also I can't play this because I have too many cards, but like, do we know what the cap is? Is it no cap?
That's a good question. I'm not sure either. I won't be able to access those either.
I don't know if it even said it, which to be honest is kind of a Sorare thing. To make a big announcement, and we're like, hey, what about this? And they're like, oh, that's nope.
Yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead.
No. I was gonna like sort of take this into the price conversation.
Sure.
That everybody loves to have. And I think that if there was a time to get people to buy cards, it looks like it's now. And I got into a bit of a Twitter conversation about whether you should buy cards when they are more expensive or less expensive.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so And so everybody knows that like prices are down. And so like maybe it is like the right time to get people to say, to like push them and be like, hey, maybe if you bought this $5 card, you can enter this new competition and win prizes that way. I don't know.
There's definitely something there with that. The only thing is, and again, I have PTSD from Top Shot. When this is happening, like I totally understand just being like, well, you're getting like a pretty good deal right now compared to what they were 2 months ago. And sure, but does that mean I'd be getting a better deal if I waited 2 more months? Like, and I think that in lies some of the frustration for people too. And like, I totally got what you were saying in reply to that tweet of being like, wait, so you're waiting till the prices are going to go back up to buy? And part of me is like, yeah, I want it. And I'm not going to wait till it gets to the top, but I'd like to see something that like spikes up a little bit, levels out a little bit instead of continuing to see it dip down. And I'll be honest, I didn't know it was like crashing until I saw it on all right, crashing might be too strong. I don't know how bad it is, but until people were talking about it on Twitter today. But I totally get the idea of just being like, I'm gonna wait this out a little bit and see what happens.
So I'm gonna completely admit that my response was smart ass.
Well, it's what Ash Wednesday for you Catholics out there, so it's pretty good.
So people here who haven't been involved in Sorare football and therefore like don't know all of the things that I discuss in terms of Sorare football. There's this thing that I do that I'm completely cognizant of, where I try to have reasonable opinions on unreasonable subjects. Mm-hmm. And so prices of cards is one of them. And we're seeing prices in Sorare football drop considerably. And I'm that guy who tries to explain why prices go down in a rational way. And it's really annoying for some people. And I totally get it. But I'm that guy, and I'm going to be that guy today when it comes to NBA. So, Mike, if you bought a card for $100 back in October, you bought a Giannis Limited for $100. How much would you pay for a Giannis Limited if I told you could buy it that day, but you couldn't use it until the halfway point of the season, February 22nd?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. That's right. I get what you're saying here, right? So you're paying a premium because you're using them more to win more rewards throughout, right?
Yes, yes. So like we have talked about this a ton about how like the prices of, and it applies fully to Top Shot too, that like the price of something increases if there's more utility. If you could use this thing today, it's going to be more valuable than if you cannot use it today.
Right.
And so early season, and I'll get to the mid-season prices and all that stuff as well. Like early season prices are always high because like you get the card right away, you can use it right away, you can try to win. And I think, I don't want to like speak for Sorare, but the idea for them is like, we're selling these pieces for you to go play a game.
Right.
Like that's how they look at it. They're really trying to not sell a product where they're like, go buy this thing and then definitely sell it to that guy for more. And then he'll sell it to somebody else. Like nowhere are you going to see somebody from Sorare talking about how like, yeah, you can own this game and also sell it to that guy for so much more. You're going to be rich. Right. It's not there. So theoretically, if I buy something that I can use for an 82 game season, I'm going to pay more for it than if I can use it for 22 games. Mm-hmm. So that part of that is why prices go down. Or when Keegan Murray is an L10 of 0 or Jonathan Isaac is 0, and we're like, oh, that makes him really valuable right now, I'm going to pay more for it.
So I agree with this, and I think this makes sense. And again, I haven't looked at it, but I'll just blindly push back for the sake of content here. Is that what's happening? Like, do you think that is the level of dropping that we're seeing, or do you think it's something bigger than that? Because based on the sky is falling Twitter responses, both across the NBA and across the ponds, it sounds like it might be a little bit more dramatic than just like, oh, because my initial reaction was like, well, All-Star break, not a lot of games happening, not a lot of stuff happen. Like if you weren't participating in the All-Star contest, maybe you move off some stuff, buy some stuff back, get it wrapping up towards the end of the season. But it sounds like it's a little bit more dramatic than that.
So I don't think it's the reason. I think it's a reason though. And there are other reasons certainly that like contribute to it. One of which is everyone talking about things going to zero. And you're just like, well, let me get 50 cents before I get 1 cent. Like
Right.
I get that.
Right.
But so the end of season drop is real.
Yeah.
And it's real in every football league that we see. And we saw it in MLB, although MLB is a really weird one because that launched like mid-season.
Right.
But my response is usually like, if you bought something a month ago, like in January, and there's like less utility now because it's February, like when you bought it, were you expecting to sell this thing in February for more than you bought it? And if so, why? And I feel like the constant like real thought for people is like, well, I bought this NFT, so I'm going to sell it for more. And like it literally doesn't go beyond that. And maybe they don't like actively think that, but I think there is some of that. And so therefore, when you buy something and you use it a little bit and then it's not worth as much, everyone was like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
This thing I bought sucks. And I don't think I just don't think there's like a lot of additional thought of like why.
Sorry, my dog's just like got aggressively started snoring.
I couldn't hear it. But that's
yeah, it was weird. No, I think that definitely. I think all of that makes sense. Is football coming to the end of the season right now as well?
The European season ends in May, which like sounds like a long time, but like
no, I mean, it's a couple months.
It's not that far. Yeah, it's basically the same as the NBA regular season, or actually, that's probably a month earlier. But
yeah,
but yes, they're like they have more European leagues, and those prices are going down.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that is like a reasonable response to something that is frustrating, and I mean, we've been talking about it for a while now too, like that it makes sense that stuff goes down a little bit, and that's why you got to win some stuff. That's like the whole point is like winning is what offsets some of that, and so I think a lot of that makes sense, but I also don't think it's not that it's okay. I also think it's important to not just like dismiss the rest of the stuff either. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I do think it's like, especially when it happens around an announcement like today too, where maybe prices are going down, then you're like, oh, and now you're taking the contest away, but you want me to buy more stuff, but I can't. Like I can see why things would bubble with frustration, and yeah, I don't know. One thing I will say, I mean, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, but after the announcement too, like someone from Sorare had reached out and was just kind of like, hey, what are you hearing? And so and they've already made some adjustments on stuff with other announcements, whether it was the All-Star game prizes and stuff like that. So I know they're not adverse to making adjustments if they think they are needed. So I think things like this conversation and just like how people have been active on Twitter or in the Discords are helpful, because they are like listening to some of this stuff. So I mean, they're not going to just all of a sudden make the prices go up. Like that's not how it works. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still having a good time. So like I'm my eyes are closed to the price stuff, and I'm just going to keep making lineups. But I am fascinated to see how they're going to evolve it, because again, like we were saying at the beginning, I'm ready for more contests, but I didn't think they'd be like, well, maybe we should have been aware for this, because they're like, all right, here comes the rare under 23, but we're getting rid of the rare over 35. And but then everyone, and I apologize, it's like a monologue now, but then everyone else has been saying too, like, well, yeah, if we had all of those contests, that means more cards are coming out, and then people start screaming about supply again too with the rewards. So I don't know.
So I totally agree with you on some of that stuff. Mike Bastin commented in the chat here. Said one factor is supply is outstripping demand, which must be why you're trying to push more into buying limited. So like Sorare continues to like auction cards at a decent rate. I don't know if it's any faster or slower than it's been. I can't imagine it's faster, but it's also, that's what their mechanism is for new users. Like they want new users to probably buy from them instead of us, which like sucks for us, but also it's like, that's what they need to be able to get people in and be able to like buy cards at reasonable or somewhat reasonable prices. Mike was also noting that the non-playoff team players are likely to drop even further, which is, that plays into the utility thing. Like they will have much less utility because their season ends so much faster.
Can we talk about Colonel Dickweed's comment? Because that was kind of what I was trying to get at too, and I wasn't sure about that. So he was saying that we're so like the off season stuff, sure, that makes sense. But as the MLS season's about to pop off, and that's still dipping down. So I don't know. What do you say about that, Andrew?
Yeah, no, I think that's totally reasonable. And to be honest, like I bought cards in December, January. MLS cards, yeah, with the thought like, oh, these will be worth like more in February, and some of them are. Most of them are basically the same.
Yeah,
and I have to look much more into it because we do have the data at SorareData, but like I don't think the market effects of the Premier League coming in were anticipated by anyone. Like we didn't know that the Premier League was coming in, and it actually, because they haven't seen this huge growth in paying users yet, because I mean, it's been less than a month that they've had the Premier League, and it takes a while to get people to buy cards. So I think a lot of existing users were like, oh shit, these cards are really cool. Let me sell some other stuff so I can buy the Premier League cards. And I mean, there are like the total supply of cards. People are going to really hate this line. The total supply of cards like really increased when they added the Premier League. I mean, we're talking like 25 players per team, 20 teams. And so it's just like a lot of, 1,000 limited cards for each of those players. And we're not going to get to 1,000 of them anyway. But so it was just like, there are more cards for people to buy. And what a lot of people do is, who are already on the platform, they don't put in more money. They just sell the cards that they have, which pushes prices down. And then it goes to the Premier League. And the difficulty that we have in trying to like explain where this money goes is like Premier League prices are also going down. So everyone's like, well, that's why you can't say like all the money's going to the Premier League if prices are going down. But that's exactly what it is, because like all of the stupid early mint cards are really high.
Right.
And even though it's like leveled out now and leveled out much lower than it's been, it's still like more cards that people want to buy, and they're trying to sell out of their MLS cards or they don't even care.
Yeah.
Because like the Premier League still has 3 months to go. And so it's one of those that like, there are reasons, I think, for it, like reasonable reasons.
Yeah.
They're not the reasons, but like, they're just like, there's many more things to like consider when you're like, I'm going to buy whatever card you're going to buy including for NBA. Cause like there are plenty of people who are selling NBA to buy Premier League.
Right. Right. And that's what I mean. I think what ends up happening too, like, I mean, I even saw it. People are trying to sell cards of players who aren't playing in the AllStar Weekend so that they could get guys who are going in the AllStar Weekend. And then if everybody's doing that, because there's only a couple of contests, there's only a handful of guys, you saw a lot of that happen. And I actually, for the most part, a lot of those cards didn't even pump on like the other side either, like the rookies or the guys in the dunk. I mean, except for Mac McClung, because there weren't a lot of them. So yeah. I think when you see that happening, and then even if you participate in it knowing, like I almost sold DeMar DeRozan that I had gotten because I wanted to get somebody else for like the dunk contest or something. And I was like, man, that like just the act of looking at it, of being like, oh, wow, I'm going to be taking like a $80 hit on this if I sell this right now. It like hurts a little bit because it's not like you think a pump is coming either, So I get what it does. I get what it does to the brain. I think it's like, I totally understand the reasonable response to it and the understanding of why it's happening, but I also get the emotional response too.
Yeah. So one of the things that we do on the football side at SorareData that we can't do yet on NBA and MLB is like show rewards. And so it's like, it's really difficult to look at a card that where you bought it at $50 and it's now 26 and not be pissed, because it's almost impossible to look at the card and be like, oh, but I did win all this other stuff with it.
Right.
And so if anyone from Sorare is listening, if you could please put rewards in your API so that we can show this stuff, because like on SorareData for football, like you can click on any card and you can see exactly what it's won. And it's like, it helps you, I don't want to say like justify the price, but it
tells the story. It tells the story of you're like, all right, I put 100 down on this and now it's worth 70, but I've also won this, and this. So I guess we're actually at like 143 or whatever, I think that is useful information. And I mean, I encourage people until that API is available. I encourage people to like try to keep track of it on your own too. Like I know TST did a really good video on that. Yeah. A while back.
Yeah. You could probably just reach out to TST and ask him to do it for you. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. So I was going with rewards. I had another thing that I was going to say.
This is about when ETH. Sorry, I just saw it in the chat.
Yeah, just Mike, it was asking if we think ETH rewards are required for price stability. And my short answer is no, because I don't think you can expect price stability the whole time. Right. Like there should be a reason why prices go down when they have less utility. Like that's a rational. I realize it's not like it's an irrational market, but there should be some rationality to it, and utility is one of them. And so like if cards are becoming more valuable at the end of the season when we can't use them, that feels weird to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, ETH rewards would be great. I would love to have ETH rewards. Like, don't get me wrong. Like if somebody is willing to give me ETH, I will take it.
They're going to have for the playoffs. How about that? You want to plant the flag? I bet we get them by the playoffs. That's going to be a big announcement. They're going to have a new contest format, and they'll be like, here you go. Here's some ETH. Everybody gets ETH.
So theoretically, though, that absolutely crashes the prices of non-playoff team players.
Yeah. Well,
because you
buy better players, buy better cards. Yeah. That's how I honestly, hold on. I do want to say something about this, because I think if you're buying top tier guys and those are tanking, let's have a conversation. If you're buying some like shitheads who play like 8 minutes a game and they're going down, you know what? I don't know. Buy better guys.
So I'm not going to disagree with you, but I am going to show you something here. Just while I have it. So I made this SorareData watch list of this year's NBA or this year's AllStar players. Mm-hmm. Mike, you know them all because you hung out with them.
Yeah.
So I don't know why Steph is here. Is this last year? No, it's this year. Did Steph make it?
Yeah.
And then he couldn't play? Yeah. Oh, okay. That makes me feel better. Although I will say Steph is maybe the reason why, or part of the reason why, this price chart is so ugly, because everybody's selling Steph Curry because he's hurt.
Right.
But basically, amongst the guys on this list, and I think it's just like the original AllStar list, if you bought, and I'll go to Limiteds because most people are there. If you bought all of these guys a month ago, January 21st, so a month and a day, $105, and today they're worth $92.
Yeah.
That's down. I'm not going to like say it's up, but it's also kind of a reasonable drop, given that like you could use these guys in contests throughout, including the All-Star contest.
Is this all of the All-Stars right here?
I think so.
Okay, no, yeah. I just didn't know if that was an individual player, or can you go to can you pull up a specific guy that played this week? In like one of the like Dame.
Sure can, Mike.
Thanks.
Oh no, Dame's up. Oh shit. Hold on.
Well, no. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to see, because I was curious, like how much of that had to do with the, like I wanted to see how high it went up before the contest and how low it went up after. So like, I think that's pretty solid. And then I know people are asking like 6 months and 3 months, in the chat too. And like that, again, though, that makes a little bit more sense that that's down from when it was first minted because there weren't a lot of them. So
right. So 3 months here. So Curry is highlighted here. Like this is what happens when a
right,
player gets hurt. Nobody
right,
wants
right,
it.
right.
Let me take him off just so we can see. So Dame was $67.20 on November 21st and $92 yesterday.
Today, yeah, just buy better guys. Everybody'd be pretty good at Sorare if you bought good players.
We need our contender guys. That's the problem. And then somebody was asking for the 6 month chart. So the 6 month chart is brutal. And it's because it includes all of the 1 of 5,000 guys that are on it. Right. But like, if you saw this, like, you probably don't want to. Do you join now if you see this?
Well, this I see. Yeah, this actually doesn't scare me because that you now have from October 27th to February 20th. It's pretty much been the same, and that's good. Like that's what I look for. I was the conversation I have with Top Shot all the time. Like I would much rather. Like I'd much rather have a product like that where it's like, oh yeah, it might jump up here, but if it does jump up, it's based on performance, and I like that. So I think this is good.
So, are we still angry?
Well, I think like if you're looking at AllStars, like yeah, you're fine. I think the bigger concern is if it is more than just, if it's more than just normal season decay of price, and if there's something bigger going on throughout the entire Sorare ecosystem.
Why don't we make another one of players that like non-AllStars?
Yeah, let's do like
who's up? I don't want to put Jalen Brunson in here because the guy's going to get more MVP votes than AllStar votes. But
let's do some like middle of the road guys. So I'm trying to think of people who haven't been hurt, like Al Horford.
Well, we can hold on. Let's just.
Oh yeah, TST said, "What if you just did all the starters?"
That sounds like a lot of people, but sure.
Yeah, D'Lo, that's a good one. Germ.
Well, these are probably going to be a bunch of AllStars. So actually, I want to take out this. So this for those of you who don't know, key player, role player, and reserve. The role player is based on minutes played in the last, probably L10. Although I don't know why LeBron is here, but I'll scroll down. So like McCollum, Kuzma, like these types of guys.
Yeah. Also to just Mike it too. I was going back to the MLS. That's what I meant by the whole ecosystem. How MLS hadn't moved yet. That's what I was referring to.
I feel like all of these guys are reasonable.
Şengün's a good one. Let's look at Şengün.
Yeah. Capella's been hurt, right?
He's been back for a little while, but he's been hurt. Yeah.
I mean, these are just guys, right?
Yeah.
Like these are guys that like you never really want to play.
How dare you? So, I want to play Malcolm Brogdon every week.
Every week, yeah, of course. And even some of these guys have been like.
Well, hold on. Sorry, I cut it again. To just Mike it. MLS is not rising. I think that was the conversation that we were having. That MLS is not rising. Anyway, sorry. I'll stop just replying to the chat.
If something is not falling as much as everyone else, is it rising? No, I'm just kidding. Don't answer.
Oh my God, it's going down, Andrew.
I actually think I have another list. We can look at it from the MLS AllStars last year. We can look at that and see where that is. So this is a list of like guys who are not as good, right? And so that's a clear drop.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of they're all dropping. So yeah, just buy stars.
Yeah, dude, just buy superstars and then lose money on the other guys.
I'm trying to see if anybody like dropped considerably. Who
This
was
kind
this?
of, I feel like we're watching The Last of Us right now. These look like the.
Sorry, a little too much of the
like,
spaghetti graph here.
Yeah. You can see exactly when Steph got hurt.
Yep. I was just about to say that. 3-month chart basically looks the same-ish. There's... Yeah, I guess we're all in trouble.
Yeah, no, but again, I think this goes back to what you were saying. Like this, we're getting towards the end of the season, and that's going to come down. What I will ask though, do you think so? When we get ramping up for year 2 of this, do you think we see that graph come back up a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Andrew said we're fine, guys.
But we're not fine until October.
I can wait. So you are saying, like, to go back to your original tweet, that's what this whole show is about, to justify that tweet you had earlier. We should be buying right now.
So I have not, I told you, like, I haven't bought a card in a while.
Yeah.
And so actually what happened to me, and we talked about this on previous strategy shows, that like when I stopped buying cards, I started winning them.
Yeah.
Like I was actually like buying cards that turned out to make my lineups worse. And I was like ending up with these guys with like Dario Saric and Nikola Jovic. And I was like,
Great
oh,
players.
These guys are going to help me get better. And like, if you look at their price graphs, like I don't even want to look because
don't look down. Don't. I bought both of those. Don't.
Yeah. So like, but like when I stopped doing that, I started winning cards. Like I was just like, I'm just going to play with my cards that I have now. And I think there are enough people, and you said the same thing. Like you haven't bought cards in a while and you don't plan on it. Like, but we have a lot of cards. So like we can make lineups with the cards that we have. And I also talked with somebody from Sorare this week. And the biggest point that I kept going back to was like the way that you can be good at this game is by owning a lot of cards. And the most frustrating thing about this game is putting them all in training lineups. And right. I was like, if you gave me more places to play my cards, I would have like the more I have in training, the less I want to buy, because I'm literally putting my lineups in. And it's like, boy, should I buy a card to add to the 75 that I don't have playing this week?
Right. Well, I mean, anytime I look at my gallery and I'm like, oh, I have 65 or 70 limited cards. It's like, for what? I can use 10 of them.
It's really, and like I said, like the way the game, like I sold a Walker Kessler rare like months ago. Mm-hmm. Like I won it and I sold it and I was like, I'm never using this guy. And my God, was that stupid?
It's been awesome.
So that was like, okay, well, that gives me less incentive to sell cards, because I was like, if I win someone, at some point they're going to come good. It happened to Sam Hauser. I won him as like a tier 4, tier 5, and all of a sudden I'm like checking in to do my lineups one week, and it's like Sam Hauser's the best value. What?
You only win white guys?
Yeah. I'm still waiting for Luca is the problem. I haven't gotten that one yet. But I've gotten to the point where I don't need to buy cards.
Yeah.
And the need to buy cards is that like I don't want more cards to not play.
Right. Well, and that's how I've been thinking a lot. I mean, I did this earlier in the season. It's probably time to do it again, of just like consolidating into stuff too. Like let me just sell 15 of my garbage to buy like a decent thing, and especially I've been thinking a lot about this like rare under 23 contest, where it's like, oh, I get a lot of those like mid-range guys that are great, but I don't have like a solid under 23 for like that MVP spot. So it's like, all right, maybe if I just flip a bunch and go buy a good thing.
John Michael here agrees. Like it's okay to flip cards you don't need. The problem is you might need them at some point later.
Yeah. All right. I think Andrew's gone too far. I think he's saying never sell, only up, buy.
No, well, that's the thing. I'm not saying buy, because, well, I'm saying I'm not buying.
Right.
because like I started at the beginning and I've bought enough. Like, I had enough. But
No,
yeah,
I
never
get it.
sell. My God.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Never sell.
I do flip. I flip into stuff that I want usually. But I get what you're saying. I mean, Jeb always says that too. Like, just everything will pump at some point. Just wait till somebody gets hurt, that guy go, and then sure, move off him. But you don't need to sell him at the bottom.
This is the last card that I bought.
God, what a
it's a collectible.
Fish. No, it's not. Can we talk about that for a second?
No, it's not.
No, it is. Whatever. The one thing I wanted to just yell about for a second. Listen, the team collection thing is probably fine. I don't want to see any announcements about it. I don't want to see any advertising about it. I don't want to see anything unless they're like this. Yeah, if you own all the Knicks, you can do a Knicks contest. Sure, you want, but like, please keep this game focused. Please be very good at your game. Don't make me think I'm holding on to these for 55 years and passing it on to my kids for generational wealth. You know, like, don't say anything about it.
Really?
Yeah, I just like, come on, just be good at what you're good at. Because what was, maybe I misunderstood the announcement. Hold on, let me pull it up on my end.
I don't think you did. I think you very much.
Yeah.
Did they even where did they make this announcement?
I saw it in their Discord. So the team collections are now available. Team collections are now here for all 30 teams. They allow managers to organize their cards they own from their favorite teams and show off their fandom by completing collections. So this is what's going to happen. Ready? And I guarantee you this is already happening. And I'm not even saying just from Top Shot people in Sorare. They're going to be like, wow, I wonder if they like airdrop something pretty cool if I collect all of my Chicago Bulls. Like maybe I get a Bulls thing. Maybe they raffle off Bulls tickets to everyone. Like they just don't do it. Just don't do it.
So I've done this before on the football side. As you can see, this sparkly United States. Oh, wow. I didn't notice it had that either.
That's pretty nice.
So this is all the players from the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what I won doing this?
Nothing.
I was the first Sorare manager to put together a full USA team. Guess what I won?
I hope nothing.
I got a meet and greet with the intent. No, I'm just kidding. I won nothing. And I don't want to say that I did it because I knew I wouldn't win anything, but man, I was hoping there'd be something there.
That's what I'm saying. And then people are going to be like, oh, I can't believe I bought Tyrell, or what's his name? Jalen Terry for at the top, like a final. Dude, these action shots are hilarious.
That is a good one.
I was looking at Sabonis too. I love it so much. My favorite Twitter threads last week were people mad about it. It's like, what are you fucking talking about? It's just, sorry, I don't know if we're allowed to drop F-bombs. What are you talking about? That you're like, oh man, if Edwards had his dick out, then I would have been buying every single one of them. Like, come on. Who cares? There's still shots.
The only action shot that I wanted, because everyone was like, oh, they should have done like the LeBron unique with the record-breaking. Wouldn't you would have loved an action shot? Was it Thomas Bryant who was calling for the pass?
Oh, yes. That would have been great.
Like, imagine if you had an action shot of him calling for a pass as LeBron breaks the record.
But I just want people to be like, enjoy that for fun. Like, none of this means anything else. Like, don't show me screenshots of one being worth more than the other. I don't care. But I like the Donovan Mitchell where he's doing the look back. That's hilarious. Like, I think all of these are very funny. They should all be funny. Like, I don't care if it's, oh, well, Kevin Huerter is a 3-pointer, so he should be in 3-point motion while we do his, like, who cares? Who cares? They're going to do more action shots. Get the one when he does that. I want them all to be shirtless. I want more fun. That's what I want. I want Jericho Sims holding the 50 up.
Is it better if they announce this collection and they're like, you don't get anything for doing this? Like, it's just fun. Is that fun? Or do you say no to that too?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not a collector nerd, so I don't think, however they announce it, I'm probably not going to be jacked about it. But yeah, I just hope I hope no one's mad about it already. I just wouldn't announce it at all. Or just create a contest for him. I think that would be fun.
Wait, what do you mean? You just said no.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Make it a part of what you're good at already. You're good at this game. So like if you collect something, maybe that unlocks a new contest for you. That's fine. I just don't want people being like, dude, I didn't get to take an Uber with Mitchell Robinson, even though I own all the dicks. Like I don't want any of that conversation.
What if they did like jerseys for everyone who did this?
That's dope. Yeah. But you got to say what you're going to do ahead of time.
Yeah. Totally agree with that one.
Yeah, you can't be like, your guest, get ready. And then they're like, here's $8 to the NBA store.
Oh, what if that's how they give out ETH?
But then no. Then it's a different thing. That's a different thing. That doesn't have to do with the game.
ETH rewards, but only for those who have a full team collection.
Oh, it's terrible. I hate it.
I'm trying to find.
yeah, Jeb. No, we can't do the team stuff. We can't do the team stuff.
That is something that you brought up during our LeBron auction watch, that you were just like, the collection stuff moves them away from what they are, and they shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I think I backdoored into this take, but I'll make it seem like I came up with it, and that was my intention the whole time. But I think the way this, like, if you consider this a collectible, the way it becomes a collectible is by Sorare being incredible at their game. And I think that's the only way. Like, I don't, outside of those uniques, which the one of ones, of course, but outside of that, I think the only way this matters is if they crush the game. They have to be like the game in this space. So I want all their attention, all their focus on just making that the best.
Such a reasonable take.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you're telling me I can't be mad that prices are down, I'm telling you that Sorare should be good at the game that they are.
Okay, that's fair.
That's both of our reasonable takes about unreasonable things.
Yeah. Oh, all right. I found it. I have, so I probably shouldn't share this, but I'm going to anyway.
Oh.
Is
that
about
Anthony
the
Edwards
bonus
dick pic I referenced earlier?
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh, no. It's about the action shots.
Oh, I hope you could just Google Sorare. Oh, look at this. You made your own?
Full picture of the Sabonis card.
Oh. That's great. That's great. I like this. I like this a lot. I could also see Sabonis being a DJ.
Right? Like you could definitely see this somewhere.
I like this. This is good. Shout out Sabonis.
DJ Sabonis. There you go. I like it. So Mike Baston is quite familiar with both of our content. But you just Lairded me. But it's true.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm just, I'm dialing up the intensity on something that I probably care a 5 at, and you talked about it at about an 8. But like, I don't know. I just think it's really good to be, know your lane and just be great at it, and all the other stuff will follow if you're great at the thing that you're supposed to be great at. And listen, bring it back to Top Shot, who's now in the news. I think what the issue they ran into is they pivoted a bunch of times, and I know it's when you're a startup, it's tough, and because you're still learning about it. But I think by pivoting, they kind of watered down what they were good at, and I just don't want to see Sorare do that. No, and I don't think they are. By the way, I don't think that's what they're doing. I trust them. I don't trust people on Twitter being like, I collected all 30 wizards. What do I get?
Yeah, that's fair. So the reason I haven't tweeted that picture out is because I didn't make it, and it was kind of shared with me privately. But man, it is too good. So I'll see if I can share that publicly. I didn't make it myself.
Well, I can guarantee Jeb screenshotted the. Yeah, that's going out, man.
If you could just please like and subscribe, that's all I really am looking for here. I think we beat the dead horse here, Mike. Do you have anything else you want to touch on before we go?
No, this also I called it. Jeb did just say he's going to screen grab and tweet. No, I don't. No, this was awesome. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It's been I don't know. I feel like I need to get like a jacket or something soon. I think this is like my 4th appearance on this channel, so it's time to. But no, this is great. Thanks for having me on. It was nice to have a reasonable conversation about unreasonable things. And now I'm gonna go figure out who I'm gonna overspend on in the rare under 23 contest.
Is that what we have this week? I haven't even looked yet, to be honest.
Yep, under 23 for that one, and then I think limited underdog.
Great, like the 2 competitions I hate the most. Woo!
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So good luck with your Luca Rare playing in the under 23, and yeah. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. If you guys haven't liked the video or subscribed to the channel, please do so. Slowly but surely making it up there, not nearly competing with Team Holds. You guys are like well over 8,000 at this point, which is
yeah, well, I have nothing going on, man. I'm available all the time, so that's why.
No, but there is fantastic content, excuse me, over at Team Hold. And yeah, I'm a member, so I obviously put my money where my mouth is. And yeah, so tune into the NBA Bit every day, 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Correct. Most days, I'll say. Every day is
yeah,
most days. Once Mike can recover from spending 3 days in Utah.
Doing that altitude,
somehow you need a break for that. But anyway, Mike, thank you very much. And I'm just going to say, I'll talk to you next time.
Yeah.